Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I first of all want to thank you very much for having this hearing today. I in particular want to thank Senator Davis for his fight to bring this to the floor of the Senate, and I appreciate y'all's willingness to call a hearing so that we can have this open discussion. Let me make this very clear, because this has been a 2.5-year fight for me. And this bill, H3047, I want to make it very clear what it covers. It would put every second reading on the record. It would put every amended third reading, not every third reading, only if second reading is changed, every amended third reading on the record. It would put every conference report on the record. It would put every section of the budget so that everyone can see how money is spent on the record. And it would put any amendment from the other body. So should the Senate take up a bill and it was changed by the House, they would have to vote on the record. This is an absolute way to protect the people of this state so they can see the spending habits and the actions of their legislators. I have to say this because it took everything I could to just sit there and listen to this. It is a sad day in South Carolina when you tell me it's unconstitutional that the people of this state don't have the right to know. When I first started this fight, they said, no, we can't have a board up in the Senate. It will cost too much money. I said, you don't need a board in the Senate. Get software, put it on your laptops, and hit a button. It will cost us $2,500. Then they said it's going to take too much time. We can't do that. Well, we showed in the House and the Senate we could put all these votes on the record, and it doesn't take too much time. And now y'all are going into some unconstitutionality of the fact that we can't do this. Why don't y'all just admit you don't want to show how you vote on the record? And example, and I will show you an example. What everybody may not know is to get a vote on the record, for us to do that, the bell has to ring. If the bell doesn't ring, a senator doesn't know to go into the chamber, a House member doesn't know to go into the chamber because they are talking to constituents outside, or they'll be on the phone, or they'll be doing something else. That bell matters, because I know what you and Senator McConnell are trying to do, and I appreciate that. But your amendment basically says, if it is unanimous consent, you're just going to list every legislator voting yes, even though they didn't hit a button. And unless that other legislator, whether they were out of the chamber and knew whether that vote was taken or not, if they aren't able to go say no, they could miss a vote, not even know they missed the vote. The point is, this is not trying to give legislators a hard time. This is by putting the Spending Accountability Act in place, two things will happen. One, we will protect the legislators because they will have to think twice before they hit that button. And two, we are protecting the people so that they can adequately see how their legislators are voting. This came to light in the House. Just, you've always heard me talk about what brought this bill to light when legislators put an amendment to give themselves a pay raise. And it was passed overwhelmingly by a voice vote. That's what made me introduce this bill. But what I will tell you now is, this just happened a few weeks ago. Take the merit of the bill out. There was a bill that dealt with Bass Pro Shops and giving them incentives. The bell didn't ring. The bill was read across the desk. It passed overwhelmingly on a voice vote. When certain legislators realized they were out of the chamber and wanted to vote on that, they came back, asked for a vote on the record, and it failed overwhelmingly and saved the people of this state $9 million. That's what voting on the record. What you are trying to do, your rule attempt, is just another way to create a loophole. And I will tell you this. My humble respect to you is to ask that you don't make a decision today, that you pass this bill out cleanly, that you allow a full, entire debate by these senators, by Senator Davis, by Senator Martin. You allow a full debate on the Senate floor with a roll call vote of who says this is unconstitutional and who says this is constitutional. Because I will tell you right now, my biggest fear is, I think you've forgotten who you work for. Yes. There are 4 million people across this state that need to know how we vote. We have grown government. We have spending that's too high. We have legislation being passed that legislators don't know about, and it's got to stop. This is not about any sort of complicated constitutional change. We change things all the time. When we want to change the Constitution, what do? We put a question on the ballot and we allow the people to vote. I welcome them saying this is unconstitutional. I welcome it going to the Supreme Court because 45 other states do this and none of them have been challenged constitutionally. And I don't think South Carolina will be challenged constitutionally either. I will tell you this, that I am passionate about this because there's not a whole lot of places where I don't have bruises on this bill. But I will tell you that this is too important for you to decide with two people today on some rule that's being passed that y'all decided behind closed doors that you were going to turn around and say that this was your way of clearing up and you were going to pass a rule. This is a bill we are asking for it to be permanent law. I'm telling you, allow this to the Senate floor. Allow a vote by every single senator on whether they think this is constitutional or not. It's the right of the people of this state. It is protection for you as a senator so that they know exactly where you're heard. You can have full debate. It is the right thing to do. To do this in this committee meeting is wrong. The way we got it in the House, and I applaud my colleagues in the House, because it was not getting passed in committee in the House, and so we asked for it to come to the floor of the House. They allowed it to come to the floor of the House. They allowed the debate on the floor of the House, and they passed it overwhelmingly. I applaud them for doing that, and I humbly request that y'all do the same. I'll take questions.
Representative Haley, I appreciate you putting this bill in too. Nobody's trying to keep the transparency down to where people vote. It's basically the Constitution that we're looking at. Did you not take an oath of office?
Yes, sir, I did.
Did that oath of office, I believe I administered it to you whenever you first became a legislator, and that was to uphold the Constitution of this state and of the United States.
Actually, the formal one was by Justice Toll, but yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I just want you to understand that what you're saying is it's not accurate. We're not trying to stop people from knowing how to vote, and that's the spin that you put it on.
Senator, what I'm saying is I'm very aware of who I work for, and it's not anybody in this room.
And I'll tell you what, and I do the same. And I'm gonna tell you, it's not easy to make decisions on bills, but whenever you've got to protect the taxpayer's pocket, and you've got to do what you think is right, you don't want to waste money in the court.
Senator, ask the taxpayers in this room, do they want the bill to go to the Senate floor or not? They want it.
And now you get me your campaign speech, and that's the reason that you introduced this bill.
You know, let me tell you.
Now, hold on a minute. I'm going to tell you something. You've told me enough, and I respect you, and I believe that you're really passionate about this bill. But this is a bill that involves much more than running for governor. And involves much more than a passport. It involves the Constitution of this state. And I took the same oath that you did. And I am going to uphold the Constitution of this state. And until somebody tells me that this bill is constitutional, correct, then I am obligated not to support it.
And I respect.
Now, I will vote to support any rule change, which I have in the past in the Senate, to have open voting in any way that we can.
Would that have a bill, Senator Knox? Would that have
a
law?
law?
Would that have a ring?
You heard the professor.
Would the bell ring? Well, I've heard two professors. It's amazing how we can get anybody to
No,
say
we
what
haven't
they
heard
want to
two
say.
professors. We got a letter from one that stopped short of telling the whole story and nothing that was against what he was trying to say. We had another one in person that came here and answered questions.
He could be here for the debate.
And so we had that done, and we were able to ask questions of her. She was very eloquent, and she answered the questions.
Yes, sir.
And I think that has a lot to do with it. Now, we have done everything, even when you failed to vote for your own bill, and you said you were temporarily out the chambers. Could you tell us where you were?
Senator, first of all, I'd like to address the first part of what you said, which was...
I'd like you to answer that one.
Well, I will answer that, and I'll be happy to, but I would like to address the fact that you said, I introduced this bill when I decided to run for office. I introduced this bill 2.5 years ago. It is arrogance like this, which is why I'm running for governor in this state, because we've got... And then I will tell you that when I am the one that asked for that bill to be called to the floor,